What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi, back with another YuGiOh Banlist update video. This month really has been the season for Banlist, hasn't it? OCG got a ban list, Master Duel got a ban list, the player base got a ban list, even other games got ban lists, and well before we did. And now that we have it, well, there's no real nice way to say it, the list is kind of funky. They made quite a few changes, but it feels more like a cleanup list than a correction list. Which isn't bad, but it doesn't exactly encourage people to want to play the game more. And you'll see what I mean when we take a closer look. First of all, 5 total cards were banned, starting with Fairy Tale Snow. They only just unbanned this card 2 lists ago, and now they're putting it right back on the list. Maybe errata it to be hard once per turn on its effects next time, like you did with Firewall Dragon. Next is Ronin Totem. I think we all expected this one. The card enables the Frog Engine to be really consistent and have plenty of recuperation. Personally, I expected them to hit either him or Totally Awesome, but I'm kinda glad they left Toad alone. Next is Crystron Halqifibrax. They just put this one to 1 on the last list, but apparently it's still too powerful for the current game. Whoever could have seen that one coming except the majority of the player base. Next is Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. If I understand correctly, this is a direct response to the Pung engine making it splashable pretty much everywhere. It's a shame Lightsworn and zombie builds have to lose out on this, but what can you do? We can't have nice things out of generic. And finally is Red Reboot. I'm actually kind of surprised by this one. It was already a one-of, and as far as I'm aware, there weren't a lot of easy ways to search it out. But most people I asked about it seem to think it's because the card is still just dumb overpowered, even at 1. 6 cards are now limited to 1 per deck. First is Blackwing Sting the Cloak, one of many casualties to help curb the abuse of Hulk, and you'll be seeing a lot of those on this list. It's also to help promote the new Blackwing support dropping in a couple of weeks, but we all know it's mostly because of Hulk. Next is Cyberjar. This one makes me laugh because it is horribly impractical in the modern game, but funny to imagine that it happened. I used to use this card way back when the game was fresh, and it was a riot to see each other flip into Cyberjars over and over, constantly resetting our fields. I doubt many people will share the same view, but I just think it's a stupid fun card. Next is Mecha Phantom Beast Lion. So Mecha Phantom Beast gets their All-Star Tuner back, but their Link 3 is currently still banned. So they're pretty much back to where they started, I guess, if not a little worse. My condolences on the late release. Next is Substitoad. Now, if it weren't for the aforementioned Ronin Totem ban, I would have lost my mind over this. Ronin ban means that the Frog Engine is essentially dead to some degree, as well as the deck taking a significant hit, so I guess it's okay to let it come back at 1, even if it is still not once per turn. Next is Spellbook of Judgment. I was afraid this would happen when they revealed it coming to 1 on the Master Duel ban list, but I think my fear is pretty much unfounded. In a slower paced game, the spell is an absolute nightmare, but right now, the searches aren't even playable until the next turn. The only issue would be the summon from the deck, because it makes Jowgen the Spiritualist an irritation. And finally is a Pointer of the Red Lotus. I didn't see this one too much myself, but it's basically a trap version of Psyframe Lord Omega's hand snipe effect. I assume they didn't want it completely gone, but they also didn't want it to be searched by trap tricks, so this was the middle ground? Now, no cards have been semi-limited, so we can skip right to the 7 unlimited cards. First is Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter. They brought him to 2 last lists, so I guess this is expected. They're slowly bringing that deck back to full power, 1 ban list at a time. Next is Cyber Angel Ben 10. Just like Dynamite, it went to 2 on the last list, so this makes sense even if I'm not a huge fan. See, Drytron still exists, but compared to all the new decks, they aren't as much of a concern, I guess. Next is Shooting Riser Dragon. Since Hulk is banned completely, there's no real reason to leave it limited anymore. Not much really else to say, I don't think. Next is Fusion Destiny. With the reprint of DPE from the 10, this means we are probably gonna see him everywhere. Thanks a lot, Konami. Next is Nadir's Servant. Just like Drytron, the Dogma and Albaz stuff is kinda less threatening now. I guess it's okay, even if Dogma is still an irritation to face. Next is Trickstar Light Stage. Same as the ones before it, putting it to 3 after last list bumped it to 2, yada yada yada. although this one might be more of an issue since hand depletion goes hand in hand with Trickstar and Runic. And finally is Wall of Revealing Light, yet another card that went from 1 to 2 last list, so going 2 to 3 here is predictable. Only reason this would be an issue at this point in the game is if people still don't have spell trap removal set up somewhere in their decks, and if Mystic Mine has taught us anything by staying unbanned, it's that spell trap removal is looking really damn appealing. And that is the whole list. I'm not gonna lie, they made a lot of changes, but it doesn't feel like anything really changed. The list did hit the frog engine for Sprite and took away Punk's best target, but it's like, the game doesn't feel at all changed. If anything, it feels like it regressed a little bit. And DPE having the potential to be in even more decks than before does not fill me with joy. Not to mention Trickstar being at full power, I think, True Draco getting stronger, Drytron getting reinforced. It's not really a good time to be a casual player. I'm glad we got some fun decks to fiddle with though, but none of them really change any of my decks. In fact, the only deck change for me in this whole ban list is to remove Hulk from Penguins. But while there's nothing available for me right now, there is some stuff I'm keeping my eye on. There's a new trap card that might help the ritual aspect of the Shinobi Spirits, a new trap for Shiranui Zombies that can theoretically halt games to a crawl, that new Rescue Ace deck looks really appealing, and I might be making a tier limit blend using some of their dark components. None of this is set in stone, but if any of it comes to be, you know where to find the updates. I thank you for watching the ban list video, and feel free to share what you thought of the list below. In the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out. Wait. Mike, cut the music, hit the lights. I almost forgot to mention something. You know that once a month podcast on my channel, The Nameless Voices, where we discuss Yu-Gi-Oh, Vice Schwartz, Digimon, Pokemon, Vanguard, and anything else we feel like, including how much we collectively hate Mystic Mine? Well, we're about to start year 3 of the show, and since we put so much work into it, we've decided to stream the next episode live on Twitch. That's right, you can watch us bullshit with each other for a couple hours and try to hold a conversation live. Episode 25 will be airing live on Friday, October 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we'll even have an audio-only pre-show starting about an hour beforehand at 4 p.m. We'll also have Twitch chat built in, of course, and a Discord and Guilded chat for anyone in either of those servers. If you're interested, feel free to stop in and give it a look. Link in the description. But I apologize in advance for whatever the show's gonna be. Hopefully, we'll see you there.